I won the primary. So when I won, I came, picked my certificate from KICC. Little did I know that all the religious leaders, all the key political players in the region who did not even know me, everybody went straight to State House to the president. And the president had to announce my cancellation, Satatu Esuku, in the TV. Are you getting? And for me, I was so proud because I was only known in the village. Now I became a national, a national debate. Are you getting? It became a national debate. So when he cancelled, you remember that is the time the nomination was made 2 days. So I went around the political parties. No political party wanted to associate with me. They were all fearing. But the late Matthew Shukuku prepared a whole file and said, if that young girl is bright enough, she'll come to my office. Yeah. And his office was in Kibera. He waited, I went midnight to his office. So when I went, he told me, I've seen you in news, this is your, I'm not taking a penny. And remember in Kano, I paid a lot of money. So he gave me the run home. Are you getting? So the challenges we have, political party, challenge one to the women. We have women political parties, but we don't want to use them. Sisi what, including me. Simada Karua kona chama. I did not use it because nikienda naye nyumbani naambiwa mama na mama wazimu wengine. Are you getting? Afadhali niende. So all of us do not want to support each other to use even the political party that belongs to the women. So we have a problem. Political parties have a problem. The other thing is, and like I was studying all throughout. After 20 years, I started 1997 and I was elected to office 2017. 20 years, I didn't give up. So women, Tukitukano, I was being abused. I was called every name. But today, they respect me, they consult me, they come home, if they have a religious function, I'm allowed. No other woman is allowed. I'm allowed, I go and sit with them. If they have elders meeting, I'm allowed. Now there's a conflict in Garissa. Clans are fighting. People are being killed and butchered. I was called and I went there. Are you getting? So women, what you believe in, please stand in for it. It is not, I didn't have money. I came from a very humble background. I'm a child who was brought up by my mom. She didn't have anything. She was a maid in houses. But what you believe in, you will achieve it. So believe in yourself first as a woman. Believe in yourself, then believe in your dreams, and you will achieve it. So there's a lot of challenges, and time is not on our side. I will continue. You want me to continue? So the other challenge that we have is the community, society, and particularly when it comes to the religion. They misuse it. Are you getting? Well, during the Prophet's time, Prophet Muhammad time, he married a woman who was a businesswoman. Huh? Are you getting? I used that on my platform. In the Quran, there is a whole chapter called Surah An-Nisa. It talks about the value of a woman. And it is in the Quran, and I raised it during my campaigns. When religious leaders come and oppose me 100 times, I was telling them, they told me whatsoever Sophia would bring is haram. I told them I was in civil society for 20 years. I have shallow well here. You use that water. Why is it not haram? Because I'm the one who brought it. And the people now will understand. I've constructed this classroom and the children are learning and your children are in class. Why didn't you stop that time? You are tribal because ours is clanal issues. I tell them you are tribal and you want to create mess, but remove your children from the school that I've constructed. Are you getting? Yeah. So then now when it comes to expectation, now when I came to office, expectation are so much. You know, when I was in the civil society organization, I had a lot of resources that I could do a lot of work. You come, you have 100 million. That bursary is not enough. You are told every person has elected you, they expect you to give them bursary. Where will you get that money? That becomes a challenge and a big problem. Then, like my constituency is 14,000 square kilometers, bigger than Kiambu County, bigger than Nyanza as the previous Nyanza. My constituency, province, my constituency was bigger. Imagine with the poor train, with are people expecting, particularly you are a woman and you want to you know, bring all the issues on the table. I want to thank the government, they supported me. If today you go to my constituency, it is one of the constituencies in Northeastern Province that have entire electricity. It is the only constituency that got 4.8 billion road tarmac road during my time. Are you getting? So, and it depends with how you navigate through with the government when you come to the office again. How you work with them, how you stand, and you know the kind of relationship that you develop with the people. And I know, Desi, you know, I know how to develop relationship with people in this country and beyond. So thank you very much. And if Desi you want, I can go around and do a lot of civic education and support to the women of this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Your story can be told a million times, and it is always still interesting. So next we'll go to Wanjiko. Wanjiko, it was your first time to run for a position at the grassroots level. So probably you can tell us the challenges that you faced and what were unique about them insofar as being a woman is concerned, how it can be lessons for other young and upcoming people.
Thank you so much, Winnie. Consistently, you give me the courage to run for office and really show up also at community level. For me, it was interesting. I'm a young woman who's unmarried. I don't have a baby. So the first thing that happened to me when I announced I was running for office, people thought I was joking, you know. And they went ahead to research who's financing me, you know, am I married, do I have a baby daddy, who's my sponsor. They thought I was a project, so there was a lot of commotion around myself. And one of the things I did when people continuously claimed that I'm so young that I can't run for office, I owned it. I said, okay, yes, I'm young. And in fact, I created my tagline around being young. And I used to call myself Kairitu Karutiwira. So a girl who's hardworking. So the best thing is that I used to do my best to turn around things that I will coin to my disadvantage to advantage. And once they saw that I'm unrelentless, that I'm still running for office, the shaming language began, the objectification began, and you find I was running against 17 men. So they would really, together with their bloggers, now target me. And on all village WhatsApp groups, I'll trend for days. And I realized that once I was following, because I became obsessed with following the conversations. So I realized that my mental health was going down the drain. I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, and I began having panic attacks and so on and so forth. So I decided just to withdraw. I left all groups, and then I left my bloggers to handle it. So I think after that, I was able now to really face the campaign itself. Good thing is that I was also with a party, Chama cha Kazi, and even once when I reported that I'm being trolled, they also started in their own ways handling it. So they will call some of the bloggers and tell them to keep off, this is our candidate. So also using party mechanisms was very useful for me. Also, for me as a young woman, I couldn't access the Council of Elders. Council of Elders back at home, they sort of endorse your leadership. So I'm here, a young woman. I'm not allowed to sit in a Council of Elders. And sadly, I lost my dad in 2010. So I didn't have a man to really go and speak on my behalf. So you'll be called by different men, you know, they'll tell you, my daughter, let me go and speak on your behalf during this meeting. What you'll do, you just send 1,500 for Moratina or 3,000, and when we drink, we speak on your behalf. So I send the money. So I call later, there's no feedback. That wasn't discussed at all, I wasn't on the table. So this happened for like, I think 3 weekends. Every weekend, so I was financing this was as the Moratina. So I realized, you know what, I won't do this again. So my disadvantage is that I lost a huge set of voters, and that was the older men, because now I couldn't access them, they couldn't endorse me, I wasn't spoken in their meetings and so on and so forth. So let me say dishonesty during politics is a lot. People just want to con you money because they know, okay, you will give so that you can be able to have people know about you vying. I also went through financial challenges. You know, I think because I'm younger, I'm not able to access more financing. For the men I was competing against, you know, they could send a parcel of land and be able to get real financing. I'm just there with my 2M. I'm trying to do my best to have a modest campaign and just really do a best campaign. But this guy has over 5 million and he's just cruising through. So you find that financing was a big challenge. Unajua, unaenda unauza manifesto, unaongea mate inaisha kwa mdomo, alafu watu watakuuliza after kuongea. Muheshu unatuacha aje. You see, so that part was really crippling, but I'm grateful for the women rights organizations that were coming through to support women like us, and they will support us in terms of merchandising. So for my budget, I wouldn't have a big budget on merchandise, because I know posters, lesso, t-shirts, such things will be there. So organizations such as Crown Trust, we had Eco Network Africa, we had Action Aid, we had Siasa Place. They really came through for young women as I. And then also, when it came to security, security was a big issue for me. So I think it's such a violation. So even when you go home to sleep, you think, gosh, I was kissed today, you know. So I had to add security to my team. I had to double, I had 4. And I also had to put a woman who was a security so that maybe she's able to really be very close to me. So as much as I was happy that people are excited to see me, even that excitement can turn aggressive in kidogo time, and it can even turn sexual harassment. So I had to spend more because now I had to double my security. So you see your budget tends to go higher. But you see some male politicians wanatembea solo, you know, my fans, you know, nobody's groping them and everything, but for a woman it's totally different. And then I also went through a lot of online harassment, especially on Facebook. I used to have a very big platform of about 17,000 followers on Facebook, and I'll use this to create visibility. I couldn't afford a whole billboard, but my Facebook could also help me, really, and I will take our voters to my online platform. But once my competitors saw that I was really strong on Facebook, ways on how to get to you. And when I was they held my hand. So I was on BBC Africa, I was on New York Times, I was on NTV, I was on the papers. So they made sure, even when I'm silenced on this end, there's this other end on news. I did panels. So I went online, and my visibility also still increased. So people kept thinking, okay, this girl, people even started saying, hey, you should go for women rep, this is too tiny for you. But I said, I want to start home. I've grown up here. There are things that haven't been fixed. I want to fix here first. So you see, I found men very smart. They knew where I was strong, and they went there to try and cut my feet off. And at some point, like my Facebook account, I saw a lot of objectives. Stage, you're speaking, just to throw you off. And I asked them, so I used to turn it playfully. I'll tell them, we have very eligible men in my home. Weren't they also trying to, hit on me? Manifesto yake kwangu venye mimi nauza kwake. So I try to playfully navigate around it so that people cannot really hit with me all the time. So for a young person, the terrain is a little bit different, and I had to really defend my manifesto. When a man stands and said, I'm running for office, watu wako, kiongozi, chief, boss. But when a young woman, you stand and say, I want to represent you. Kwa nini? People are asking you why. Yeah. Have you ever led elsewhere before? You give a whole list. So what do you want to do for us? You give the manifesto. Why did you think of this and not this? So I kept defending my manifesto every single time. And at some point I used to feel it's so unfair that I could see men having an easier time than me. But this is the job, and I did not shy away from it, and I went back and mwisho. But above all, I want to just appreciate the Women Rights Organization for having mental wellness check-ins for us, because they kept us in touch. They let us know that we were not doing well. Like for me, I didn't know I was really depressed. But once I was checking in with my mental wellness counselor, she started asking me, are you eating? Are you sleeping? And then I realized I don't do these things. I'm not sleeping, I'm not eating. I'm obsessed with my phone. I just want to see what people are saying. So if I'm dancing on a stage, selling my manifesto, I want to sit down and read what people are saying. And I just felt that mental wellness check-in really saved me. Because umeketi chini unapigiwa simu bana yako imengolewa, umezungusha banners, it's money, you pay people to climb up to put them up, you pay security kwa ground 100 bob every day, and you have like 30 banners. So that day you didn't send that 100 bob, wameshatoa, wamejam, alafu watu wamechange, wamesema huku si kwa Kairetu tena, huku maybe ni kwa mtu mwingine. And they use it as a carpet in their houses, and they even take photos and share in their village WhatsApp groups. So you're like, okay. So those things used to make me panic so much, and mental wellness check-ins helped us really grapple with your mental health and just help you manage, not to lose it. I mean, it's so crazy. So that's me. Yeah.
Yeah, please give her a round of applause. She's still recovering. At least today she has remained safe. Mheshimiwa, the cultural and religious values, especially from the area that you come from, become really intricate when you mix them with political work. So could you tell us, and I guess as we wind up, because Olive is Mulika in me, how you use those platforms to challenge the stereotypes that you have, especially within your community?
Just as I said earlier, that there are examples that were there previously, long time ago, on women in business, on women, a whole surah talking about women. So sitting with the religious leaders and discussing and talking about representation, particularly when you want to represent on the political representation, it is very difficult. It is a problem and a major problem. But once you start, slowly working with them, like I recruited religious leaders in my campaign team. And besides me talking or challenging the religious leaders, I had my team who could advocate and talk before I even talk, some religious leaders, and supported the cause. So when it comes to elders, I also had recruited elders in my campaign team. And those elders could stand with me, and they are people whom I worked with over 20 years and who believed in what I can do and my capacity. So I did not start just overnight. That's why it took me 20 years to be elected to an office. And all those 20 years, I was developing relationship, MACU, always engaging, sitting, talking, and agreeing on issues, what could be done. That's what I was doing. So always developing networks, having relationship with the religious leaders, with women leaders, with the MACU, developing relationship and putting a strong team on your campaign team, you'll get more men than women. The years I've been developing. So there are a lot of men who supported me in terms of, after understanding through the years, after understanding me, I've developed a relationship that helped me succeed in 2017. So I had the religious leaders, I had the opinion leaders, I had the elders, I had youth, I had also a team, security team, who supported me. My security team used to call themselves Jeshi ya Mama. Because during the voting day, that was the most crucial day when violence is at its peak. And that day, these guys came in large numbers. We had identified all polling stations. Every polling station had a good number of my security team. A lot of resources so that you will be able to build a campaign team that can be successful, that can respect you, that can stand with you.
A round of applause for that. Oh yes. So lastly, Wanjiku, as you know, the theme of this convention is inclusive governance, sote pamoja. A young person that you think is necessary for us, to say that indeed we are
finesse, we do bring it to the table. So inclusion of young women is really pertinent. And sasa to that gender role itimizwe, and we are glad that our president is very enthusiastic about it and the goodwill exists. And above all, having party politics include women. If women are given party tickets, we are going to, the numbers are going to really go up. Leaders to endorse women, because we have women who
in 1 minute.
I have requested for an extra minute just to speak about my close friend, Mheshimiwa Anjeri Maina. She went through a really tough ordeal yesterday, and she really went through violence on the ground. And I'm really grateful to see that the women leadership in Parliament have really come out to support her. And I ask every woman in this place today, please stand with Mheshimiwa Anjeri Maina. She's a young woman who is really doing much on the ground, but she's also meted with a lot of violence. And please put up a post, please put up a tweet, please speak to someone. She's the women rep of Kirinyaga County, Mheshimiwa Njeri Baida. And her going through violence, she's at Nairobi Hospital right now, and she's not doing well. Today, the Speaker of National Assembly, Honorable Etangula, went to see her, and I'm really glad to see the support. And I would like us as women, with our hashtag Sote Pamoja, let's stand with her.
Thank you very much. Please give a round of applause to the panel. Thank you. I know it was rushed, but I hope we all have something. Karibu, Olive.
Another round of applause, please. Thank you, Honorable Sophia, Abdinur Wanjiku Thiga, Winnie Maru for moderating brilliantly. So I know I saw some people stretching in their seats. I know it's been a long day. I just want to open the floor for just about 10 minutes, if you'll permit me, for questions, because I see the first female Chief Justice, Dancy Baraza, has stayed behind to see if she can take some of your questions. We also had Winnie. I don't know whether she's still here, but we have those who've just spoken as well. So I will give first occasion. I'll take questions from the floor, but also to those, first priority to those on Zoom, because they've also been very patient this afternoon. I don't know whether we have any hands up on that platform. As you heard from Winnie, we have over 60 women who contested elective office in the last general election who have joined us on Zoom. Makofi yao. Thank you so much. And you'll be given direct, so we will read those out. But since there's a gentleman who is already holding his hand.
Very good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. If you could keep your question or your comment as concise as possible so we can get as many as possible.
Extremely concise. Daktari, my question is, what would be the problematic issue lifting Article 177 as it applies to the County Assembly and bringing it to the National Assembly? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your name, so that she knows who to reference?
My name is Inganga Mbinji.
From?
From Research Dimension Services, a member of National Women's Steering Committee. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Makofi.
Of course, one of the few men in a skirt in this room.
All right, we'll take 3 questions to begin with. Here.
Thank you, Olivia. My name is Dr. Njoki Wamai, Women Political Alliance and US. Mine is a comment and maybe a question to Sophia, Honorable Sophia. And thank you, everybody who has, all the women who are there. I was so touched. Thank you, because of you, we are the shoulders that you are the shoulders that we stand on, so we can see further. So thank you so, so much. So, Honorable Sophia, my worry, and I like that you analyze the different parliaments and how impactful they were. The different parliaments. I'm talking to you. I know you have to look up there. So the different parliaments and how impactful they were. What would you say, the one that you 2017, what is this that the women of that parliament had compared to the other one that you saw? You said you did. Our women reps left. Yes, somebody said they've been called to parliament, but I think we need to, I mean, what is more important, to be honest, than this meeting right now for women? Even if parliament pays them, at the end of the day, this is their constituency. So how do we also get women to understand this is their first constituency as much as their political parties matter or their paycheck? Thank you.
All right, Daisy, I see your hand, but can we let's have Madam Rahab here. Microphone, guys.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for all that we have had. My questions are 2. First of all, I'm happy that Professor is here. People who have been in the journey, Kabira, and Deputy CJ is here. I think, Professor, and I've said this before, we need accountability of these positions which were created by women movement. There are many women in that parliament who do not know where the women members of parliament came from, as we have heard from here. And we have heard from Sophia what happened in Naivasha. And Professor, if you remember, when they were in Naivasha, we were in City Hall waiting to go inside parliament. And each one of us was lobbying their members of parliament. Therefore, then the disconnect of the young women, like the girl we have really heard from, between this journey and where we are today. So Daisy here, we are looking at a training which brings all of us together to share this story, to see where the gaps are. The fact that we keep on saying there is a disconnect between the old and the young and all this tells us that we've not been together. Because from Maendeleo, I am clear, this is my team here, and we've been working together. But when it comes to the civil society together, there has been a clear disconnect. I'm addressing Professor and Daisy. What is then the impact? How do we get to be number 3 in the world with girls giving birth at 13 years when we have so many legislators? What is exactly happening in that parliament? What is happening in that Senate? Why do we want the 2/3? What is it supposed to change for the women? Why is it not changing now? Yes, I endorse the 2/3. I am part of it. It is a journey Maendeleo has done in 70 years. But why should we have our girls simply becoming maids? You are maid, you are in Kibera, 13 years, you've given birth. Your daughter, when you are 26, you are a grandmother, she is a maid. What is this which is not changing? Therefore, I come to Professor Mbidi and Kabira and say, the economic empowerment. Can we all get involved in it? And today, is there a way of fundraising together as civil society so that we go to the ground and do this work? Finally, is to say that what is the women agenda? Why do we want to be that senior? Is it for ourselves? Do we want to be a club of women who are members of parliament, a club of senators? Then we cannot reach the women at the grassroots. Why do we want to be in this? Supporting the 2/3, absolutely, I'm part of the team, but saying, why do we want to be in these spaces? Thank you very much.
Back to you. All right, because 2 of the questions are directed to the both of you. We'll start here.
Thank you very much, Olive. The gentleman there, why don't we lift Article 175 into Article 81? 177 to 81. And there lies the incongruence, and therefore the problem we are in here. I wish we could. And if you look at the first draft, the constitutional draft, before it passed hands and reached Naivasha, it didn't have that problem. Because actually there is an incongruence where the Constitution is clear about the 1/3 representation in the county assemblies, but not in the National Assembly. And that is where the problem is. Actually, that's why we are rotating around where we rotate. One of the incongruences, in the process of harmonizing the various drafts, there are so many things which Bomas had, which are not in the 2010 Constitution. And 2010 Constitution had a very clear architecture, and every chapter flowed into the next, so that if you tinkered with it, then it resulted in some incongruence. And this is one of those, a very unfortunate one. I wish we could deal with it that way. And if we do, then we will have dealt with the problem of